Marriage. What was once defined as a legal and formal recognized union between a man and a woman can now be defined in a variety of ways. Although from a religious standpoint, the definition would be that of a sacred bond between a man and a woman under God or whatever God that religion associates itself with. That hasn't changed regardless of the times, and it would likely never change. But up until the 20th century, the traditional roles of a husband and wife in a marriage were clearly defined. Men provided, protected, and not just their households, but their nation. In the 20th century, there were 3 military drafts in the United States, which men, of course, had to leave their homes and fight for their country, which meant it could cost them their lives. For women, their role in the marriage was also important. They were tasked with not just maintaining the home, but to nurture the next generation. And I feel like I should also note that women did take on larger roles in those 3 major wars that I mentioned, and that being the World War I, World War II, and the Vietnam War. But for marriages in general, they're much different today. When discussing the roles of a modern day marriage, for men, the standard is still the same. Provide and protect. We're still held to the same exact standard as we were in the past. While for women, they're held to whatever standard they want to be held to. Laws have shifted to make it where everything that a man may provide for his family, a house, car, money, whatever the case may be, the woman can now keep without actually having to keep the man. And that includes his children. It's becoming less and less of a secret that marriage can be a very dangerous move for a man to make. Or is it? I'm Tricon, and this is Unpopular Facts. Before we get started, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Only takes 2 seconds. It's free and it helps out more than you know. Let's start by saying this. This is not for women. This is for men. Alright? Now, everything that I'm going to talk about can happen to a woman, but we must understand that is the exception. And I feel like people struggle with the word exception these days. If I say that if you drive off a cliff, you're likely to die, don't tell me, hey, well, I drove off this cliff and I lived. That's an exception. I understand the things that I'm about to talk about happens to women. We must understand that is the exception. So now, for men, we must understand that we live in different times. You must understand that your parents' 40-year marriage cannot be compared to anything that you're trying to do now. Your parents got married in the 70s or 80s or whatever, and you're trying to get married in 2020. Those are entirely different things. As I said in the intro, the roles in marriage were clearly defined. Now they are not. Somehow, the roles have stayed the same for men. You must provide and protect, but the role for your wife can be whatever the hell she wants it to be. You need to understand how dangerous that is. One day, I want to be the provider and protector. The next day, well, I'm a woman. And they can do this whenever they get ready, any day of the week, any time of the day. And of course, the role that they choose to play, that changes depending on the circumstances. When it comes to bills, well, hey, I don't want to lead and protect today. I don't want to play the role of a man today. When it's time to buy a house or make purchases, of course that changes. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Every statistic that you come across tells us it's a bad idea for men. Why the hell do we ignore statistics? If you're driving down a road and there's a sign telling you that there's about a 70% chance you're gonna crash, are you driving down that road? Well, my parents drove down this same road, but so fuck it. They didn't have a 70% chance of crashing though. The circumstances, the atmosphere, everything is different from when your parents got married, if they were. Now, there's a number of reasons why the divorce rate is so high. One thing that I've learned in my 28 years on this earth is that when you incentivize something, people will move in that direction. In the vast majority of marriages, women are incentivized to divorce you. And it's really quite simple. The math is very simple. Look at what you get when you get divorced. This is, of course, in most cases, women. You get the house, you get the car, you get the kids, and I get half of my ex's money. You don't have to do any research to understand that math right there. With that math, they're doing better financially. I bring up Scandinavian countries a lot because These people have figured this shit out, and it's really not that hard to figure out. There's just so much money in divorce that a lot of people really don't want the system to change. But in these countries, they have removed that incentive. As a result, they have some of the lowest divorce rates in the world. Now, what would lower divorce rates mean here in the United States? Judges and lawyers don't get as rich. Good old capitalism, baby. Have you ever noticed the marriage is only in turmoil when the woman isn't happy? That's really no surprise to me, because really everything is about her. Everything down from the proposal to the wedding is about her. The wedding is her day. During the marriage, where do you think the term happy wife, happy life comes from? Like, really, what is the upside in putting yourself in such an inferior position? And then, just like I talked about before, the pressure is on you to keep that marriage afloat, because like in 90% of cases, you're going to lose everything if the marriage does not stay afloat. Think of it as a business deal. It's supposed to be 50-50 in theory, but if the business goes belly up, you're the one that's left with the debt. Would you enter a partnership like that? Hell no. That's what marriage is. Now let's talk about the thumbnail. Most of us have seen how the Jada and Will Smith thing has played out with, of course, August Alsina. It's no secret that all of us know that if it was Will Smith that befriended his daughter's friend and had sex with her, he would have already been canceled by now. No more Men in Black. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air would have been canceled on all networks. When's the last time you seen The Cosby Show? But it's okay, because who wasn't happy? Oh, the wife. The wife wasn't happy, which completely justified the entanglement. And again, we must understand that Will Smith, the pressure is on him. Not sure how old his kids are. I know some of his kids are grown, but odds are the kids will go off with Jada. Jada will get half of his money. Don't tell me about the prenups they have, because a lot of you don't know that prenups, a good lawyer can find a way around those things. And plus, they only protect the money that you made before the marriage. Anything you made after is fair game. So yeah, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is fucked regardless. Had he never married her, he would have far more leverage. Will Smith is worth around $250 million as of 2014. Obviously, that's probably gone up. But you take that and cut it in half, and he's still a rich man. You have to understand, you can't afford for your money to get cut in half. If you make 50 or 60 grand a year, after a divorce, you will be below the poverty line. Dr. Dre's wife just filed for divorce. He's worth $800 million. After he gets divorce raped, he's still alright. You must understand that you may not recover from this. And a lot of men don't. There's a reason why men make up 90% of all suicides. Divorce has a lot to do with that. Sugar Shane Mosley, the boxer, when he got divorced, of course, she got to keep his kids and half his money. But the judge had the audacity to award this woman his championship belts. I believe he had 4. The judge gave her 2. Now, I understand why. Of course, the championship belts are worth money. There was also a lot of other bullshit that his ex-wife was requesting, but the championship belts are what I remember most, because it had me thinking to myself, those of us that watch boxing understand what boxers go through, and to one day win a championship, you look back at your journey and look at the pain, the sweat, the blood that you had to sacrifice to get there. The fact that she would even accept that is really symbolic. It's saying everything that you ever worked for, I can take it. Of course, like all other celebrity divorces, women cheer these women on. These ex-wives of these celebrity men, they cheer them on. Those same women cried when it was Mary J. Blige. When Mary J. Blige's ex-husband, of course, he now receives alimony. When he won his case, women sounded off in anger. They sounded off to something that happens to men every 10 seconds. When such a double standard exists, why the hell would you put yourself in that situation? Stop getting married. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as well as hit the notification bell. Only takes 2 seconds, it's free. Helps out more than you may know. Always remember, drink water, save money, in that order. Tricon unpopular facts. Till next time.